1. Did your parents teach you to share when you were a child? Yes, they did. When I was a child, my parents often reminded me to share my toys, snacks, and even small gifts with my siblings and friends. They believed that sharing is an important value that children should learn from an early age. Because of their guidance, I gradually understood that sharing can make relationships stronger and create a happier environment for everyone. Even now, I still try to apply this habit in my daily life. 2. What kind of things do you like to share with others? I usually like to share food, useful information, and learning resources with others. For example, if I discover a helpful website or an interesting English learning video, I often send it to my friends so that they can learn from it too. Besides that, when I cook or buy snacks, I enjoy sharing them with people around me. I think sharing knowledge and experiences can help people improve together and create a sense of connection. 3. What kind of things are not suitable for sharing? In my opinion, some personal belongings and private information are not suitable for sharing with others. For instance, passwords, personal documents, or bank information should always be kept private. In addition, some valuable items such as expensive electronics might not be appropriate to share because they could easily be damaged or lost. Therefore, it is important to know the difference between sharing generously and protecting personal privacy. 4. Do you usually share things with your friends? Yes, quite often. When I study with my friends, we usually share notes, ideas, and useful materials to help each other understand the lessons more clearly. Sometimes we also share interesting stories or personal experiences during our conversations. I think this habit not only improves our learning process, but also makes our friendship closer and more supportive. 5. Do you think children should learn to share? Yes, I strongly believe children should learn to share from a very young age. Sharing helps them develop empathy and understand other people's feelings. It also teaches them how to cooperate with others and build positive relationships. In the long run, children who learn to share are more likely to become kind and responsible adults. 6. Do you prefer sharing things online or in real life? Personally, I prefer sharing things in real life because it feels more direct and meaningful. For example, when I share food or gifts with my friends, I can see their reactions and enjoy the moment together. However, I also think sharing information online is very convenient, especially when sending useful articles, videos, or learning materials. Both ways are helpful, but face-to-face sharing often feels more personal. 7. Do people share more nowadays than in the past? Yes, I believe people share more nowadays, especially through social media and online platforms. In the past, sharing mostly happened among family members or close friends. However, today people can easily share photos, ideas, and experiences with a much larger audience. While this makes communication faster and easier, it also means people need to be more careful about what they share online. 8. How do you feel when someone shares something with you? I usually feel happy and appreciated when someone shares something with me. It shows that they trust me and want to include me in their experiences or thoughts. For example, when a friend shares useful advice or something delicious to eat, it makes me feel valued and closer to that person. Small acts of sharing can actually make relationships warmer and more meaningful. 1. Have you ever borrowed any books from others? Why not? Yes, I have. When I was a student, I sometimes borrowed books from my friends or the school library, especially when I couldn't find them online. Borrowing books was very convenient because it allowed me to access useful information without having to buy every book. Besides that, discussing the book with the person who lent it to me was also quite enjoyable. 2. Have you borrowed money from a friend? Why not? Yes, I have, but it doesn't happen very often. I only borrow money from close friends when I really need it, for example, when I forget my wallet or have an unexpected expense. However, I always try to return the money as soon as possible because I don't want money to affect our friendship. 3. Do you like to lend things to others? Why not? Yes, I generally don't mind lending things to people I trust. For example, I sometimes lend books, notes, or small items to my friends or classmates. I think lending things can help strengthen relationships and show that you trust the other person. However, I am usually careful when lending valuable items. 4. How would you feel if someone borrowed something from you and never gave it back? Why not? I would probably feel a bit disappointed and frustrated. When someone borrows something, I expect them to return it after using it. If they never give it back, it might make me feel that they don't respect my belongings. Because of that experience, I might become more careful about lending things in the future. 5. Do you prefer borrowing things or buying them yourself? In most cases, I prefer buying things myself because it is more convenient and I can use them whenever I want. However, if I only need something for a short time, such as a book or a tool, borrowing it from someone can be a practical option. It helps save money and avoid unnecessary spending. 6. What kinds of things do people usually borrow from each other? People usually borrow everyday items such as books, chargers, pens, or even clothes. Students, for example, often borrow notes or study materials from their classmates when they miss a lesson. These are usually small things, but they can be very helpful in daily life. 7. Do you think borrowing things is common in your country? Yes, I think borrowing things is quite common in my country, especially among friends, family members, and neighbors. People often borrow small items like kitchen tools or books when they need them temporarily. This habit reflects the friendly and supportive relationships within the community. 8. Is it better to borrow things from friends or from libraries? I think both options have their advantages. Borrowing from friends can be more convenient and informal, especially if the item is something small. On the other hand, libraries are more reliable for borrowing books because they offer a wide range of materials and clear borrowing rules. 9. Why do some people dislike lending their belongings? Some people dislike lending their belongings because they are worried that the items might be lost, damaged, or returned late. Others may simply feel uncomfortable sharing personal possessions. These concerns are understandable, especially if the items are valuable or important. One. Do you like receiving gifts? Why not? Yes, I do. I think receiving gifts is always a pleasant surprise because it shows that someone remembers you and cares about you. Even if the gift is small or simple, it can still make me feel happy and appreciated. For me, the meaning behind the gift is much more important than the price. Sometimes a small gift can remind me of a special moment or a meaningful relationship. 2. Do you prefer giving gifts or receiving gifts? Why? I personally prefer giving gifts. When I give someone a gift, I feel excited because I can see their reaction and know that I made them happy. I also enjoy thinking carefully about what kind of gift would suit that person the most. In my opinion, the process of choosing and preparing a gift can be very enjoyable and meaningful. 3. What kinds of gifts do you usually give to others? I usually give practical gifts such as books, snacks, flowers, or small accessories. Sometimes I also choose personalized gifts because they feel more thoughtful and unique. For example, if I know someone likes reading, I might give them a book that matches their interests. I think choosing a gift based on someone's personality makes it more meaningful. 4. Have you ever received a gift that you didn't like? Yes, that has happened before. Sometimes people give gifts without knowing exactly what the other person likes or needs. Even if the gift is not something I would normally use, I still appreciate the person's kindness and effort. I believe the intention behind the gift is more important than the gift itself. 5. When do people usually give gifts in your country? In my country, people usually give gifts on special occasions such as birthdays, weddings, and major holidays. For example, during Lunar New Year, it is common to give lucky money to children and younger family members. Gifts are also exchanged during celebrations or when visiting someone's home. It is a way to show respect and good wishes. 6. Do you think expensive gifts are better than cheap ones? Not necessarily. I think the value of a gift does not depend on how expensive it is. Sometimes a simple gift that is chosen carefully can be much more meaningful than an expensive one. What really matters is the thought and sincerity behind the gift, rather than the price tag. 7. Do people give the same gifts to different people? Sometimes they do, especially when they buy gifts in large quantities for convenience. For example, during big celebrations or company events, people may prepare the same type of gift for many individuals. However, when it comes to close friends or family members, people usually prefer to choose more personal and thoughtful gifts. 8. Do you think giving gifts is important? Why not? Yes, I believe giving gifts is quite important in many cultures. It is a simple way to express appreciation, love, and gratitude to others. Even a small gift can make someone feel valued and remembered. In many cases, gift-giving helps strengthen relationships and create happy memories between people.